Welcome to Meet Your Neighbor, the podcast that highlights the people and stories that make Westbrook Village a truly exceptional community. I'm your host, Steve Marilla, local realtor, neighbor, and proud member of this vibrant community. Each episode, we sit down with residents to learn about their careers, life experiences, and what brought them to Westbrook Village. It's a chance to connect, share, and celebrate the unique journeys that shape our neighborhood. Thanks for tuning in. And now, let's meet your neighbor. I met Vince Lodato here in Westbrook Village, but his story really starts on the beaches of Los Angeles. He grew up skateboarding and surfing, classic California kid stuff. But what really lit him up was music. He started a band, and that passion carried through much of his life. Vince went on to build a great career with several major companies, eventually landing in Washington State with Starbucks. The Pacific Northwest was a big change, especially the weather. But as Vince will tell you, every stop taught him something new. Today he's traded the rain for sunshine here in Westbrook Village, and the rest, as they say, is history. Now let's meet your neighbor. Hello, Vince.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing wonderful.
Another beautiful day here in Arizona.
It certainly is.
It certainly is. Now, I'm pretty sure I know where you're from. You're from Washington State?
That's that where we moved here from Washington.
But where'd you grow up then?
I grew up in L.A.
In L.A.?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't know David Sterling then, did you?
No, but we lived maybe 15 minutes away from each other.
And never met?
Well, in L.A.
In L.A., yeah.
You're good. It's a good just to meet your neighbor next door in L.A.
Yeah, no kidding. How'd you like growing up in L.A.? What was that like?
Oh, when I was there, back in the Flintstone era, it was beautiful because we lived in the San Fernando Valley.
Yep.
And there was nothing but orange groves and walnut groves. We were never inside the house.
Yeah.
Our whole childhood was outside. Then my dad put a pool in the backyard. And so, all the neighbors' kids were all in our pool the whole summer.
Oh, nice.
So great. It was awesome.
When I grew up in Minnesota, and when I dream of California, because all I listened to was the Beach Boys when I was in junior high.
Right.
And I just loved the whole James Dean, and everything about California was cool. And I just pictured that nobody wore a shirt ever. It was just you were in your little khaki shorts running around barefoot.
Barefoot.
Yeah.
And I skateboarded barefoot.
You skateboarded barefoot?
And now, you can't go outside without a helmet.
Right. Yeah. It's changed a little bit. Yeah. So were you a skateboarder?
Oh, yeah. You had to skateboard.
Did you have to because you're in California?
I grew up in the 60s there.
Yeah.
So it was all the surfing phase and all that stuff was there. So that's what irritated my father the most, because when I got my driver's license at 16,
yeah,
I'd take off for the beach, and I've got a pool in the backyard.
Right, yeah.
But we balanced it out. It was fine.
Did your dad kind of put in the pool to so he could keep an eye on all the kids?
No. The story I remember was my mother had a choice of getting wall-to-wall carpeting in the house.
I remember
or a pool in the backyard. Because, back then the houses were built with all hardwood floors.
Yeah.
And back then the trend was cover it with linoleum.
Cover it up with,
and
yes. Yeah. And then 20 years later, tear all the carpet out.
She thought the best thing to do would be get the pool because, we would have as kids enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
With it. But, the funny thing is, I was born in New York and they're from New York. They didn't know how to swim. So they had to go for swimming lessons while the pool was being built so they could.
Well, how long did you live in New York? Just a couple.
Let's see. I think we moved when I was, when the Dodgers left Brooklyn to come to LA, my dad, I think that was 55 or 56. That's when we moved.
Do you still think you have a little bit of a New York accent?
Oh, yeah. People tell me.
Yeah. And that little bit of time.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I grew up with parents that lived there.
Oh, sure.
So you kind of speak the way they speak.
I just heard myself say, "Oh, yeah, sure. I'm from Minnesota."
Exactly.
Our accents. Yeah. And we could talk all day about horrible accents, but yeah. So, you lived in LA. As a child, you're a surfer. You're a pretty cool dude then. Surfer, skateboarder, and you had a pool in the backyard.
Yeah.
So where do you go from there?
But you didn't think about it.
You don't know.
Everybody did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it's like everybody rode a bike and everybody surfed. So it wasn't like we felt that cool.
But surfing is so special. I mean, did you? I mean,
well, it's
the
movies made a thing out of it, and Well, I wasn't that good at it, but I did it. And,
okay. And you didn't catch the bug because you'd still be doing. I mean, there's guys that still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the bug I really caught though was, after the Beatles played on Ed Sullivan.
Yeah.
It was like everybody in our entire neighborhood wanted to start a band.
Right.
And so.
And you started?
That's what happened. Yeah. My parents got me a little snare drum and a cymbal.
Yeah.
Just to see if I was going to
go anywhere.
The guy across the street, my best friend across the street, got a guitar with an amp. And then from there, we would play in the garage, just him and I. And then we decided to find some people to put a band together.
Really?
So in high school, I had a band.
You had a band?
In the first year or two of college. Yeah.
What was it called?
That is the funniest story.
Okay, well that's
we were
perfect.
Called the Spades.
The Spades.
And the reason we picked that is because we thought it would be neat to have an insignia on my drums,
of a spade.
Of a spade.
Yeah.
We didn't realize the connotation,
right?
It had.
Yeah.
But,
not in the 60s.
Yeah. Well, not living where we lived either.
Right.
The darkest person in the neighborhood was me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
tan white guys.
Anyway, it was fine. We had a great time.
And were you playing all covers? And
oh yeah, absolutely. And we had a singer, electric organ, 3 guitars, and the drums.
Really?
Yeah.
And did you do any singing back from the drums?
No. Matter of fact, that's a funny story. We got a gig. We didn't get paid for it, but this guy was opening a new music store in a strip mall.
Yeah.
And the weekend he was opening, he brought us in to play outside in the parking lot on like a hay wagon.
Yep.
And he said, "I'll provide all the musical instruments because that's what I'm promoting." So
right. Yeah.
So instead of getting paid, we did that, and it was so much fun. But we're playing, and I'm singing back up. I had a microphone and all that. And a few months later, one of the guys in the band got a tape recorder and he started taping, us playing and stuff. And we're going, oh, there's somebody in here that is way off too. I mean, it was just terrible. And they found out who it was.
Yeah.
So I said, well, you're not taking the mic away. I said, don't plug it in.
Right.
But I want
because
to look, all the girls are there, and I want to.
Yeah,
see,
you got to look cool.
I got to look cool. So that was fair. So I had the mic, and I could sing, and nobody could hear me anyway, without a mic. Yeah. Or I could just lip sync it or whatever I did, and it was cool.
I find drumming to be like an amazing. You're using your feet, your hands, and then the guys that can sing at the same time and be drumming, I find that to be a talent that is just like, it's like those one-man bands.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing so many different things with your mind. Yeah. So do you still drum?
No. I wish I did. I wish I had kept it up because, first of all, you have to have room for your kit, drums and
the pads don't work for you, do they?
No, I didn't want to do the electronic thing because I was always I'm the most unmechanical person in the world, and if it didn't work, I couldn't fix it. Right.
Right.
So, and then my career and kids and marriage and all that came in, so it was like. Ironically, though, when my youngest son got married, we went to his in-laws' house, and he had a whole drum set up in his workshop.
Oh, yeah.
So I spent about a half hour in there, and it was like I had 2 casts on my arm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could do nothing. It was really embarrassing, actually. But anyway. It was fun. But I'll tell you a funny story. When I said we had this in high school.
Yeah.
So we were about 16 or 17. We were still in high school, and we got a paying job at a fraternity in the Valley.
Yeah.
And to play for New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's a big gig.
At a fraternity party.
Yeah.
So we jumped on that. That was so great. So we're playing and we're having a great time, and the place is just packed. And
that's college girls.
Yeah.
That's big time.
Yeah, that's
in high school, you're like, yeah, that's
so here I am, we're on the drum kick, and it gets to, we're doing the countdown now at midnight. And I'm doing my drum roll, and then bam, Happy New Year, and all the girls got in a train line and went around and kissed all the guys at the party. And then they came around and kissed all of us in the band. All of
Really?
us. I'm telling you, well, this is how much it affected me that 100 years later, I'm still telling you.
You're still telling me the story about when you got kissed.
I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. So, yeah, it was fun.
Wow.
We had a lot of good times in the band.
Oh, I bet. I mean, you must have been pretty good, though. I mean, and I don't mean just you, but your band to find high school kids that, every high school kid wants to start a band, but to get a gig and to go around and play, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
especially in California.
Really, I could keep a beat. And that's really the kind of drummer I was. I wasn't, any,
they weren't
big solos and all that stuff. And there were guys that, in our high school that played in bands, and in our high school we would have a dance in the gym every Friday night.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And especially after basketball games, if they were home games, and we'd go to clear out everything, and then they'd. So we would see some great bands of classmates, right?
Yeah.
And there was a few guys that were just phenomenal drummers.
Anybody from your school that went on to become famous that you know of?
No, not that I recall.
Huh.
But I did go to school with Jerry Mathers, who was Leave It to Beaver.
Oh, okay. There you go. There's your claim to fame.
There's my claim to fame.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that is cool. You know what? And when I talk to people or I get to know people, I always wonder where their confidence comes from. And you've always come across to me as someone very confident. And I think those performing like that at a young age in front of people, you got the chops.
Yeah.
And it's just that affected you your whole life, I bet.
Yeah, I'm sure
at a confidence level. Yeah,
it did help my confidence level.
Did you have long?
It also taught me that even though I wasn't as good,
right,
for what the guys in my band needed, I was okay. Would they have liked to have a better drummer? I'm sure they would have, but we were just all buds.
Yeah,
so it was.
But you made it work. I mean, that's pretty. So you get done with the band career. I gotta ask though, and I don't. Did you have long hair back then?
Well, my hair was curly, black and curly.
Black and curly.
So they all had long hair, and I tried to grow my hair out.
But
and I'll tell you what it looked like when I went to. Let's see, it was my senior prom. The gal I was dating wore a lime green gown.
Yeah,
and so I got a tuxedo that the jacket was lime green and in black tuxedo pants. And back then, you wore a turtleneck with like a medallion.
Yeah.
So I put all this on and I come out with my curly, bushy hair.
Yeah.
My dad said I looked like a white man, Sammy Davis Jr.
So you had some tight curls.
Oh man, yeah.
Was, and your band was named the Spades.
Yeah,
you did a lot. You did a lot of stuff.
Right?
Yeah, you did a lot of stuff wrong in that little.
It was
gig.
very politically incorrect.
Oh, that's hilarious. So after the band, what do you do? I mean, you can't live that. You spent the rest of your life trying to live up to it.
Yeah, we all just kind of split off. Guys. A couple of guys went to college. A couple of guys went into service. Some guys, the guy across the street actually got a job right out of high school with AT&T or whatever it was called back then, I think.
So what did you do?
And I went to college for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I progressed onto that and, started a career. And then I got a job with a company called Saga. Yeah, they're not around anymore, but they were a food contractor.
Okay.
So what they would do is they would go to universities, and they would run the dining halls and all the food service on campuses.
Yep.
And then they also had a business division where they would do it for big companies like IBM and all that.
Okay.
So I got a job with them. And then I get a call from my brother-in-law, and he was a stockbroker. And he goes, hey, I'm just calling to tell you you're now working for Marriott. And I go, what? He goes, yeah, Marriott Hotels just bought Saga. And I go, why would they do that? He says, well, they have a little division that's a contract feeding division also, like Saga.
Yeah.
And it's mainly they were doing university feeding, and that's what I was part of.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get accounts west of the Mississippi because Saga was so big west of the Mississippi. So they just bought us.
Can't beat them by them.
Which was one of the best things that happened to my career. Because for what I can't pinpoint why I've always wanted to do this, but I always wanted to work in hotels.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid, I was even thinking about it. And which is weird. You think, well, firemen, whatever. I wanted to work in hotels. So anyway, they take over. And in 2 years, I had an opportunity to work in a hotel, to transfer out of the food service and work in the hotels. And so it turned out great. So
I wonder if working in a hotel, the desire for it, because I always looked at, when I was younger, I was influenced by a couple of things. I saw a guy on a motorcycle come to our gas station and just sit and drink a Coke, get back on his motorcycle. He's driving a BMW, I thought, man, that is cool. I want to do that someday. And another was a guy pulled up in a Corvette, and he just has jeans and, not even jeans, shorts and a t-shirt. And, he had a lot of money, but he didn't show it. It was just kind of, and I always looked at hotels as adventures because you're out on the road and you don't know where you're going to land. And I mean, there's nothing better I'm sure you've had this. It's 9:00 at night and we didn't have phones back then. You pull in and you're like, hope they have a room for us.
Right.
And that first meeting with that person said, do you have a room available? And they're just always so friendly. Well, not always, but typically they just put you at ease, and all of a sudden now you're at home. It's hotels are a neat product for sure.
Well, I knew early on that I wasn't sit in an office type of guy.
Yeah.
I couldn't, that part of a career would make me crazy.
Right.
So I always just kind of went in the direction where I might have had an office, but it wasn't one where I was sitting down all day long.
Right.
I was out.
You could move around.
And so.
Did you, how long did you do that for?
I did that for about 8 years, and then I went with Starbucks.
Oh, really?
By this time, I'm up in Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm married.
Okay.
And I'm up in Seattle.
Yeah.
And
then you went on to Starbucks. So you're brand names, Marriott, Starbucks.
You know what? And that was the fortunate thing for me, I felt, because I worked with such great companies that really knew how to take care of their employees and take care of their customers. And the one of the main things I learned from Starbucks was at later in my career with Starbucks, I managed all of the bakeries from Chicago to the West Coast for them.
Oh, wow.
They don't do that. They're not set up like that anymore. But
sure.
Back then,
that's what you did.
And I would go into corporate meetings, and if you had a new product, if somebody in some division came up with a product that they thought would be good to put in the stores, like a new coffee pot or a new cup, or even in my case, it would be new food items or something like that.
Yeah.
It had to pass 3 questions that they would ask you.
Yeah. And
it was in the order of importance, these questions. And I thought this was, when I really understood what they were going after, I thought this is great. The first question, let's say, for instance, I wanted to put soup into the store.
Yeah. And is the first question the most important?
Yeah.
Okay.
So by order of importance, the first question is, if you put soup in the store, how is it going to affect our employees in the store?
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
That was the first question.
That tells you a lot.
Right. Then the second question is, what is the benefit to our customers for putting the soup in?
Sure.
And then the third question, naturally, because they're a for-profit businesses, how is it going to affect our bottom line? But that was the order of importance that those questions were answered. So if you didn't answer in a positive, or they felt was positive the first question, you never got to the next two. Even though you could say, if I put soup in, we're going to make, an extra $1,000 a day in every store.
Sure. It didn't matter.
If it didn't hit the first two, you never got to that point.
You never got to the money. That is wow.
It was one of the best teachings I've ever had. And the other thing with me in career and with Marriott, I've been blessed with good and bad managers, as everybody has.
Yeah.
And my dad always told me, he says, you're going to learn, if you're smart, he said, you're going to learn more from the bad managers you work for than you will from the good managers.
Sure. Learn what not to do.
And so I said to him, how's that? Yeah. And he says, because you're going to sit there and go, boy, when I'm a manager, I'm never going to do that.
Right.
I'm never going to say that to my employee, or I'm never going to do that behind so-and-so's back.
Right. I'm never going to make the employee feel like that employee just got.
And then early on, I had a really good manager. I worked in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I ran one of the big dining halls at, believe it or not, Oral Roberts University.
Oh, really?
So here's a surfer kid, right, from the 60s.
Right, yeah.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and I'm working in Oral Roberts University.
Wow, yeah.
Single.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't have put me in a more opposite. So anyway, we were talking one morning. I told him I had some people that didn't show up and all this stuff that everybody has. And he goes, let me tell you something. He says, if you have a crew of people that come in that work different shifts, like we do here, where you had a morning crew that came in, then you had an afternoon crew. So the morning crew would get breakfast out and then get lunch ready to go.
Yep.
And then the next crew would come in and help finish up lunch and then get dinner ready to go. Okay. Yeah. He said, you put your strongest people on in the morning. He said, because they're the ones that are going to show up all the time.
Right.
And they're the ones that if you have an afternoon person that calls off, they're going to stay and make sure you're going to be set up for the rest of the day before they leave.
Right.
He says, because if you don't have good people in the morning, you never get caught up. And I'm telling you, that piece of advice was worth $1 million.
Yeah, you're behind the eight ball the whole day then.
All day.
Yeah.
All day running, trying to get caught up.
Yeah.
So I was very fortunate about that. And,
Yeah, you've had some learning experiences. Yeah. It's kind of, I kind of tell younger people, I said, you're going to learn a lot on the job, and you're going to learn a lot what not to do and what to do. And and the biggest thing I always told kids, especially if you don't like the way someone's running a business, go run a business and do it better than them. I mean, because there's plenty of opportunities. We can do whatever we want here. So, yeah. So you're in. So what brought you to Phoenix then?
Well, I just retired.
You retired?
Yeah. So about 5 years before I retired, we started looking around because we lived in Seattle, which was a fantastic place to live and to raise our kids.
Yeah.
But it's not a place to retire because of the rain.
Sure.
It rains all the time.
The weather is as bad as they say it is.
It is.
I mean, I've been there, but being somewhere and living somewhere are two different things.
Yeah. I mean, you could go 2 weeks and it'd be raining all the time for 2 weeks.
How do you keep your mood up?
Well,
I mean,
it was when I first moved there, coming from LA or the Southwest, because I lived in Albuquerque, I lived in Las Vegas, moving around with Saga and Marriott. So that was, moving up there was very hard for me. Well, when I moved up there, that's where I met Kelly, my wife, and I was struggling. I was really struggling, especially in the winter. I was not used to the cold, and we lived up in Bellingham,
Oh, so
at one point.
So you're at elevation too.
We were up by, right on the border of Canada.
Oh, okay.
So we get those, what are the northeasters?
The northeasters,
whatever they call
yes,
those, man.
we get them in Minnesota too.
And I'd never lived anywhere where I saw snow falling. Okay.
Right.
Now, when I lived in LA, my folks would take us at Christmas time up into the mountains, Big Bear, where there was snow.
Yeah.
But I've never saw
You never saw it come out of the sky. You're probably wondering how it got there.
So here I move up there, and, there's snowfall, there's ice. And I always remember the first time I tried to put chains on. I had no idea. Again, Mr. Mechanical here.
Yeah.
I had no idea what to even do,
Yeah.
It was, it was very hard. And then Kelly came up with a brilliant idea. She said, you need to learn how to snow ski. Because I didn't.
Right.
Why would I don't know how to snow ski, right?
Right.
Lived in LA.
Yeah.
Because she's been snow skiing since she was like 3.
Right? Okay.
Because she's a Washington State girl.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, okay. So I went for lessons. We go up to Snoqualmie, and I went for lessons. And that's what did it.
Then
because there were many times where when we drove up to Snoqualmie, at our house, it was gray and overcast.
Yeah.
But then we got up to Snoqualmie, and it was beautiful blue skies
and white snow.
Trees.
Yes, nothing better.
It was, and that's what saved me. That's what saved me. So it was.
And you chose to ski with 2 pieces of wood instead of 1? You did snowboard?
Yeah.
I thought you would snowboard with your surfing background, no?
I never even thought of it because Kelly skied.
Yeah.
And so that's just the way I just.
Well, see, I always snowboarded just to try and be like a surfer. I mean, when you get in that fresh snow and you're just carving down, it's just, I thought this has to be what it's like to be on a wave. But how would I know? I've never been on a wave. So, gosh, I can't believe how fast these interviews go. So let's talk about Westbrook. Are you still the president of the Pickleball Association?
No, I did my
Club?
2 years.
You did your 2 years? Yeah. And so what do you like best about Westbrook? And I think it's an exceptional place to live, but what do you think?
Oh, I agree with you. When we come in off of Union Hills and turn into Country Club, it's like, right?
Doesn't it give you a pride? I mean, especially in January when the big mounds of green grass are there on that hole, and it's just it feels great.
And I've said this, especially since I'd been president of the Pickleball Club. When I turn into Westbrook and I look at everything and how nice it's kept, 100% of that credit has to go to the HOA.
100%.
And it doesn't matter who was on the HOA or whatever. And I've had my fair share of being the president of the Pickleball Club with battling with the HOA.
Politics and HOA, yep.
And I've said this from day one, when I drive in there, they just do a remarkable job.
Yep.
Especially for what we pay for.
Yes.
And that was one of the reasons we picked Westbrook, other than we had friends, David and Vicky lived there.
Yeah.
But everywhere we went, they had places that were beautiful and everything, but there were HOAs back then at, 6 years ago were $200 a month. Now
I can't imagine what they are. Yeah. And the golf club is reasonable I know people complain. They're always going to complain.
Always. Yeah.
But I tell people, I always say about HOAs, I would like them to tell everybody what to do. And except for me,
Exactly.
But it keeps our values up and it keeps it looking beautiful. I mean, the values are one thing, but the day-to-day walking around in a clean environment, there's always someone doing something to our common areas. It's really, what else do you like about it? That's it? Just as beautiful?
Well, of course.
There's
tons of people that have lots in common with us.
Yeah.
They're our age.
People just seem happy here. I mean, I'm sure the people that aren't happy stay inside, but the people that actually get out of the house.
When we first moved there, it was like, 3 or 4 times a week we're going to this person's house, that man.
Right.
Which my wife loves.
Yeah.
And I'm not that guy.
No.
That's probably why we were attracted to each other. We're opposites on that point anyway. And so finally it came to the point where I said, look, I'll give you 3 events a year, big events, like somebody's Halloween party, which I hate.
Sure.
Or going to somebody's Super Bowl party. I like to watch the Super Bowl, not have 10.
I like watching football by myself. Yeah.
That's what, how I said, I'll give you 3 parties. I said, but then when invitations come that you're getting and so-and-so's getting together, I said, let me know. And then I'll go if I
feel like it, but yeah.
And I want to go when I know there's going to be, people there that I'm going to be able to converse
connect with,
Yeah. But the problem is because we live there, and living there during the day means you're pickleballing, you're golfing, you're seeing them all day long.
Oh, I know.
And then 2 hours later, you got to go to their house and try and be social again.
Right.
And that's not me.
Well, it's kind of like when I saw you this morning. I said, let's not talk too much. We got to interview.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Kelly she loves it, and Kelly can go to as many parties as she wants to go to, and she does,
I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't want to have to go anywhere. And and there's times people always say, well, you're an extrovert. I go, yes and no. I mean, I want to be an extrovert. I want to talk to people when I want to talk to people.
Exactly.
And I want to be quiet when I want to be quiet. And
I like having 2, maybe 3 couples just come to our house.
Yeah.
I can talk to
That sounds great. I've never been invited. Come on.
Well, you'll never will either. So, sitting around a table, and, maybe we're eating something or whatever it is, and we're just conversing.
Yeah.
And we can do what we're doing here, tell me stories about you that I don't know about, things I don't know about.
That's what I like to. I don't like parties more than 6 people because I'm not going to get anything out of it because I want to learn about you. I want to experience you. I don't want to have to go from group to group and little, and I don't say cliques in a bad way, but yeah. But, well, we're over 30 minutes, my man.
Right.
Yeah, it's been great. I really appreciate it.
Good. Well, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming in.
All right, man.
You have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you, Buck.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Meet Your Neighbor podcast. Real estate is how I'm able to support this show and give back to our community. If you or someone you know is thinking about buying or selling a home in Arizona, I'd love to help. I also offer a free real estate review, basically a health checkup for your home's value and market position. You can call or text me anytime at 651-295-6830. Again, that's 651-295-6830. I'd be honored to help you or your neighbors with the next chapter of your real estate journey. And thanks again for listening, and be sure to keep connecting.